thank you for taking on this tough issue, because it is a tough issue, but it is one that very much needs to be resolved, and I think the time may well be right. People who don't understand rural Australia and the challenges they face, to discuss any of this is quite confronting. But we still need to address the issue in a way that makes sense, is humane and looks after our farmers.
For us as land managers, what we need is an ability to manage kangaroos. The best way to do that is find a methodology where we as landowners can become financial participants and with kangaroos as part of our resource base.
If they were given some form of proprietorship or ownership of those animals, custodianship if you like, maybe they were going to lease those animals, then they would have a vested interest in looking after them and would be able to manage the quality of the animals that come off that property, because after all these kangaroos are on pastoral lands, and it just makes sense for them not to continue to be a pest in those lands, but to be an integral part of meat production off grazing lands.
What we have to do in the current situation is work within the current management framework. And in New South Wales, that's worked on a reactive program where you count the population of kangaroos, then you apply a 15 to 17% quota allocation dependent on species, and then you can take that number out either through commercial harvest or through non-commercial harvest. Now that's totally reactive. By that time, all the damage is done. So what I'd argue now is we've got a management structure in place that is no longer fit for purpose. I'd probably argue that perhaps it never was, but certainly now going forward in an environment of climate change, where, as we are led to believe, we're going to have more of these longer, drier spells, we're going to be faced with more challenging decisions in how we manage our livestock numbers to maintain and preserve and increase the quantity of grass and ground cover on our landscape. So we're going to be more and more pressure to manage that better, but we can't do it with kangaroos.
I think the challenge in my portfolio as someone who has been a farmer is to bring the environment and farmers on the same page. So we sing from the same song sheet, and what better discussion point than this to do that, whether it be too many native animals or too many feral animals.
We need to identify and communicate better the justification for kangaroo management. I'm sure a lot of you here would feel that that's obvious. It's not obvious to many people, and if you want in particular a commercial kangaroo industry to be part of the solution, then people really need to understand that as the basis. You need to demonstrate that kangaroo management is justified, effective and humane.
I'd like to suggest that conservation agencies should probably just play a role in setting a minimum national population and let the agriculture departments get on with managing that above it to maximise its value as another commercial animal from pastoral lands. I'd like to appeal to graziers. Why not get behind and promote commercial kangaroo use? Ask MLA to be involved. A stronger kangaroo industry is not a threat to conventional livestock. 40 million kangaroos are already out there on your lands, and you are the stewards.